Hello and welcome to your Sphinx Roll-Up tutorial. This movement requires shoulder stability, spinal stability, and mobility. And this is about core activation, core contraction. So let's start with some shoulder stability. So you're going to take a block, be in a seated position in whatever way is comfortable for you. You're going to grip the sides of the block with your forearms. So you're pressing your forearms into this block. And as you do this, play with the amount of pressure. So you're holding it so it doesn't fall on your lap. And now try to squeeze the block a little bit more, say about 25% of your effort. Notice what changes in your shoulders, in your arms, inner arms, outer aspects of the shoulders, and then squeeze a little bit more, maybe about 50% of your effort. And you might even notice a little bit of trembling, maybe a little bit of shaking. And then ramp your dial up even more. So this position mimics the position of the arms when we're in Sphinx pose. Try to bring your elbows up in line with the shoulders as you squeeze the block. And then relax. And likely it would feel nice to shake out the arms. So we'll do that one more time just to establish the stability that's going to be involved in holding the upper body up in this active Sphinx movement. So again, you're going to grip the block and you're going to pretend that you have your forearms on the ground and you're supporting your upper body. Start by squeezing the block about 25% of your effort, and then slowly increase the dial of intensity up to 50% and 75%, and then turn the dial up all the way. Keep breathing. Take one more breath and release. So just about a minute or so of work, 30-second repetitions to activate the muscles involved in this portion of this movement. So put your block down, come onto your stomach into this prone position and support your upper body with your forearms. Your elbows will come below your shoulders. Now you're going to push the ground away with your forearms. And I want you to imagine that the block is there. I want you to imagine that you're squeezing the block with the forearms, even with the upper arms, as you're pushing the forearms into the ground. Now this is a more active Sphinx pose just in that action. What we're going to do is start to lift the chin, and you can even lift your eyes here too. So now we're in the extended portion of this pose. So we're extending the spine. The spine is in a back bend. We're going to initiate the roll up by tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then as you do so, push the ground away with your forearms. And then imagine you're pulling your forearms towards your hips. And now as you're doing this, let your spine continue to round and feel your ribs and your low belly, your pelvis and your thighs lift up off of the mat, all because you're pushing your forearms down. Imagine you're squeezing that block and dragging the forearms towards the knees. And you should hopefully feel this in the abdominals. You can hear the trembling of my voice due to this effort. Slowly roll yourself down. So let your thighs, your pelvis, your abdomen come down to the ground. And then inhale, come through that extension phase. Do this a few more times. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Push the ground away. Imagine you're squeezing your block and feel your shoulder blades move away from one another. As you float up off of the ground, your knees stay in contact. Pull your forearms towards your knees. Round your spine. So the hips are not involved, the legs are not involved. We're trying to make the effort happen completely using the rounding of the spine and the contraction of the abdomen. Lay yourself down, inhale as you come through Sphinx. Imagine your chest is threading between the gateway of your arms. And then one more time, chin tucks in, like you're a snail curling into its shell. Push the forearms down and pull the forearms back, rounding the spine. Imagine your knees are coming up towards your elbows, lowering down and inhaling, rippling the spine through. And I'm going to show what it looks like when we do involve the hips. So if you're not feeling this in your abdominals, it's likely because your hips and your legs are doing more of the work. So what that would look like is you would start with your inhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest. And what often happens is we get the initial stage of the ribs lifting up, but then we end up putting more emphasis into the hips by creasing the hips back or pushing into the knees. So rather than lifting the hips don't lift by way of the hips. The hips will float up, almost drag as you drag your knees towards your elbows. So the pelvis is heavy. I'm not pushing the hips back. I'm trying to keep the legs as if the legs are not there or not working. Inhale through, and then one more time, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Now this time, as you lift up, coming into your Sphinx roll-up, feel the work of the abdomen. See what it would be like to tuck your toes under, float your knees up, and pull your forearms towards your feet. Now, to not feel this in the low back, you might have to round your spine even more. So feeling this in your abdominals, feel the tension in the shoulders as you come into this rounded plank, and then lower down, coming all the way through. Elbows come out to the side and lower down to the ground. Bend your knees, give yourself a little swish from side to side. So it'll take us through 3 more rounds, ending in the low plank variation, just so we are patterning this all-important spinal movement into our nervous systems. So here we go. Sphinx roll-up. We start with the forearms down. Push the forearms into the ground. Inhale as you lift your heart, even lift your gaze. As you exhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Push the ground away. Start to float the spine up, round the spine. Pull the forearms towards the knees. Lower down, thighs, pelvis, abdomen. Inhale, chest through the arms. Exhale, chin tucks in. Push the ground away. And try to imagine your spine is rounded like a Halloween cat. It's not going to necessarily get that way, but that will help contract the abdomen. Lay the pelvis down. Inhale. And then last one, tuck your chin in. Push the ground away, round the spine. And then here you have the option of lifting the legs, pull the forearms towards your feet, squeeze your thighs. You can lengthen your neck and gaze forward. Make sure your sensation is felt in the abdominals. Squeeze the imaginary block. Lower down, passing through Sphinx one more time. And come all the way down.